Hello, so I am on day 14 after my shoulder had PRF, which was just my platelet injected into my shoulder to try to heal up. So it increases inflammation, and when you do that, it's gonna heal up the shoulder. So right now, I wanna show you my first start of shoulder mobility. So my shoulder is not ready yet. I am still nursing it and waiting, and it's unstable, and there are like unstable areas. So I just want to show you that I'm starting very slowly with just mobility. So first of all, I'm checking my shoulders, the scary area and how stable it is, very slow. I'm gonna go circles. So this is like my first thing of testing how's my shoulder. So right here it's scary, then there's a click, and then it's a little bit worrisome. So I wouldn't want to be doing heavy shoulder presses with this shoulder. I'm not really sold on it. So then after that, I'm gonna feel if I have pressure, because here I have pain when I do this, so I can't pull my bra off without a lot of pain here. So on this border. So I know that has to go away, that pain, before I'm fixed. And then the other test I do is to see, can I now actually do a pull-up position, not pull-up, a push-up position with my shoulder. So then I test my shoulder. I'm gonna do it this way because I know when I started to have my pain in my shoulder that I couldn't do it. It was painful, but now it's much better. So now I can do this test. And then when I can do this, my first rehab exercise is gonna come, and that is gonna be mobility, which, you know, it's not a classic now, it's the butterfly. So I'm gonna do this one, slow, straight arms, all the way down, turn, and then here, slow, because it's gonna be scary. Here is usually a problem area. So now I notice that this feels much better, not crammed up before, so that makes me happy. So I'm not rushing anything, because here's the thing, right after I feel better, it's easy to kind of rush it, and then we break it up again. So slow and steady. And then after that, when I worked on that, the second thing I'm gonna start doing is the hold, that is gonna be like that, straight out, holding it for isometric hold. And of course, that is then gonna turn into, when I can do that, I'm gonna start doing the external rotation, and they're gonna be isometric first. So I'm gonna do, this is my first rehab day. So then I hold this for 30 seconds and just make sure that I feel the contraction in the posterior shoulder and no pain in any area. So I have pain in the rear and the front, and 2 tears in my supraspinatus and my infraspinatus, which are on the healing. And then after that, I'm gonna definitely start doing the band work. So then after that, we have the external rotations. This one is gonna happen. Then I'm gonna do the more scary one, which is gonna be this. The rotational one, this one is my danger zone, because this is bad here. And that is also why I'm not a fan of the upright row, because it puts your shoulder into a horrible position where all the pressure here, rotating torque, so I don't do that one. So that's why you never see, you don't really see that exercise in my program. Anyway, so it was hot. So then after that, you're gonna see how I'm doing the Cuban press in form, because I'm not up to doing the regular stuff yet. I'm not ready. But that's gonna be front bend in the bottom, and then up to this, and then from this position up. Then of course we have the internal rotation too. That might be helpful, but for me it's not when it's gonna be my issue. But that's in the shoulder, you wanna work the external rotation, which is where you're weaker, and the internal rotation is gonna be where you're stronger, but it can be too much. So there's another really good exercise for building up endurance in your shoulder. That's the laying down reading test. So if you read a book and you notice that you're getting tired here, good, because that is how you know you're working your shoulder all the time. And then I'm gonna do the banded stuff. Then I'm gonna have a band pushing, so I have to hold this in the same plane back and forth like that. And then I'm gonna do that the walking style. So I have a band that I hold on to and I put it in the door, and then I walk back and forth, and I don't want to see the shoulder move in the plane. So it's the same thing as the knee valgus, but I'm gonna do it to the shoulder. So when I do the band, the pressure on the band, so I have to hold the external rotated position while I'm walking back and forth like that. And then we have the spider. The spider I call when you're holding on to like a dip position. So that is just making sure the shoulders, this one. So it's like lifting off. So then after that, it has to work up on the mobility again. So so now we've done all that stuff, right? And then after that, we're gonna do the extension. So this forward. And here I feel in my bicep tendon, because that's also a problem in my shoulder. It goes, it's one of the part of the shoulder, the tendon. And so that's why I'm waiting for that. And then after that, I do the rear shoulder. So it's like a pull at the same time I am holding on. So think about, you're gonna punch at the same time, holding at the same time. So that feels a good stretch in the back of the shoulder. And I'm gonna do this one, and this I'm very careful, don't rush it into. So this one, then I do PNF, which is you tense and then resist and then release, you get a better stretch. So you manipulate the stretch and the stretch in the gaudy tendons. I think stretch muscle spindles and stretch. I forgot. It's the little guys in muscle and tendon unit which look for length change, for tension, and for stretch or something. So anyway, and then now here's another one. This one is, I don't push it. So I'm gonna compare one shoulder to another, because the left one is fine. So I compare the feeling on the shoulder on the right to see it's gonna feel the same thing. And I must say that these 2 weeks off, so far, I'm so happy to see where it's going, because in my whole career, I have very much not really had more than 10 days off, and that's like 2 days for upper body. So I gave my shoulders the royal treatment when they said no anymore. I'm just like, okay, I listen, because I knew better than to just be stubborn, and I'm very proud of myself. So here you go, another one. Externally rotating here. How is that on the other one? All right, so this one I cannot do. So that's definitely painful. So I'm waiting and taking note in my body journal, where I make journal about everything. So this is like I'm starting to slowly get into it, right? So I'm prepping my body to be able to train heavy and hard to build. So this is also so where I need to take time and have patience and not train. Because what am I going to do with a body that is just worn out? I have to have have the strength and the function and I have to keep my body in tip-top condition in order to be able to train like my life depends on it. So I can't just do that when I'm in the mood. I have to prepare. So that's why I'm living an athlete's life without a sport. It's just I love my fitness paradise life, taking care of my body and do that. So then we have the triceps overhead, because the triceps, of course, it sits on the shoulders. So you have to have mobility in all the areas. Now this one is scary, so I do this one. And then we're gonna do the big movers around the shoulder, the lats and the pecs. So then the pecs, we're gonna do the corner stretch. This is great for chest. Just make sure you don't lean into your lower back, so it becomes a hyperextension, because you don't get the stretch. So chest up, and then you can turn to the side. And the side you turn to, make sure that that left leg here is going to be in front for maximum stretch. If you don't feel a stretch, turn to the other side towards the way you don't stretch, and you're gonna feel it. And then the other one, so I take the leg on this side to the same side I'm stretching, and thus I'm getting the best stretch, and then turn to the head, I'm getting the best stretch. So remember, don't jump into a stretch, you're just gonna make those stretch, why don't I remember the word now? Muscle spindles and stretch Golgi tendons, I think. Well, check it out, you learned something. I should double check too, but I forgot. So now the last one is the shoulders. No, the lats. So you're gonna see my favorite here. And you feel it in the pecs and your lats and your teres major and triceps and shoulders. And you can lean a little bit to the side and rotate a little bit to get more on the side of the shoulders. So, there you go. Oh, trapped. Ouch. And then sternocleidomastoideus is going to be here. And then we have the levator scapula, the muscle that can be really a pain in the butt, because anytime you have like a sudden turn of your head, it can be like, can't turn my head, right? That's usually on the levator scapula. So how do you make it stop cramping? You don't try to stretch it, you activate it. So activate the side that's cramped up, then stretch it, you're gonna notice. All right, I'm excited about continuing showing you how I'm rehabbing my shoulder. It's gonna be according to Pauline's tempo, so I don't know how it's gonna be. I'm just very excited to have this challenge, to have this lesson, and that I'm doing it for you to show. Because I'm not gonna be a coach who's so scared of, that I'm not gonna go through all the things that happen to my body and make it a lesson, because that's why I'm here. All right, thank you so much, guys.